Yeah, 2 more wishes, and 1 isn't blue skin. The voice of Marcus? Yeah, the staging music is pretty good. Yeah, I can't really sing. You know what I look like.
Winter's face reveal. Isn't he on the website?
No, every one of our pictures are.
Hi, everyone. Andy will be here soon. We're just warming up the stage,
I can face reveal.
keeping it nice and warm. Duet. Okay, I see Andy's gonna set up soon or join soon.
I see him in here. He just needs to
Yeah,
join the stage.
there's like a button at the bottom.
There he is.
Noise. Can you hear us?
Oh, Andy's going cam on. Let's go.
Oh, we can't hear you yet. So Winters is gonna be your main co-host. I just was warming the seat for you.
Okay.
Have fun.
Hello? No?
Yep, I can hear you. Look, it's Andy.
Hey guys. Excited to be doing this with y'all. I know it's been a really long time since I've reared my ugly head in this Discord, and hoping you guys don't skew me alive, but I'll do my best to answer as many questions as I can, as truthfully as I can. Um, obviously there'll be some things that we can't share, and there's also just some things that we don't really know the answer to yet. But I'm looking forward to kind of having the open and no conversation. My laptop doesn't run out of batteries. So, yeah, I guess we can go ahead and kick it off.
Cool. We've got the list, so if you want to maybe hit a couple just generic topics first. So a bunch of people asked if we're going to have more cosmetics.
Mm-hmm. So this is one of those things where, like, I want to have more cosmetics. I think we will, but it's not like on the explicit product roadmap for our next major update. That being said, we do want to provide a lot more character customization options as a general rule of thumb going forward. And I thought we actually did for 1.4. Did that not get in there, Winters? I thought we actually added like some new like hairstyles and stuff like that, just not transmog stuff. That was at
No,
least one of the
we didn't have
intents.
any character stuff. Yeah, it was. I think it was something that was on the possible agenda. But yeah, trim came in, but that's about all.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
no
we'll look
balls
into
yet.
that. I can't make any promises, but I do know that we've made a lot of significant effort into making it easier for us to add stuff like that in the future. One thing we did recently was we unified all of the male and female base body meshes. So now when we design or create new armor types, like we don't have to create armor twice. It can just be once. And that enables us to create like cosmetics and stuff a lot faster, right? Because obviously we're not doing double work. Like, of course, there will be like shape and figure differences, but the way that we've done it now allows us to do that much easier than before by unifying kind of that rig.
Cool. If you want to grab a question from the pool, or I can keep tossing them towards you. It's up to you.
This was an old backing goal on Kickstarter, and I hate how everybody looks the same. When do we get a transmog system in the game? This one's by Saradin. Yeah. I hate it too. I want more unique, more character customization. We joke around about, you know, beards and baldies all the time. Where it's like Winters can't express himself in the game right now. So that's obviously something. It kind of dovetails back to, you know, the first question that Consequence added, right? Which is that we care a lot about allowing you to express your full self in the game. Now, what's really important to us is that obviously we have full servers and people that are sticking around and playing the game a lot longer. And I'm thankful to say that, you know, after the Quest 3 launch, we've been seeing the best numbers we've seen in the past half a year or so, which is really encouraging, right? But our focus right now remains on bringing in, you know, and engaging and keeping a lot of Zenith players continuing to play the game. And while I think Transmog is going to have a tangential impact on that, fundamentally the core loop has to be fun enough and it has to be performant enough and less buggy so that you can actually have people walking around checking out all these new cosmetics that you've set up for yourself. So in order of priority, you know, that's still our focus first, is to continue iterating on the core game loop until we have something that's really fun that attracts a wider audience.
I don't know if you can see the side chat, Andy, but if you don't have it open already, but people might ask questions in there as well. Okay, cool.
Sure. True and real. I want to look like Walter White. Okay. Who doesn't want to look like Walter White? That guy's a badass. I mean, I think when can we expect additional inventory space to be added? Anything along the lines of more pages, better management, categories, or housing storage would be great. Yeah, that's something that we've heard a lot from the community of not having enough space. You know, if I'm looking at games right now, there are a lot of games that are dealing with this exact issue. Diablo 4 being one of them. I think they just, season 2, they just separated out the gems inventory, right? And added a separate place for your gems because people were getting tired of like collecting a billion gems. And so when I look at inventory space, it would be relatively trivial actually for us to add an extra page on the slider. The reason why I don't want to do that is I don't know if that's the best player experience to just keep adding infinitely like more and more pages of space as we add more items to the inventory. I think we need a better inventory management system, which, you know, probably includes a stash of some sort that you could put in your house, which will also encourage people to get houses and go to player housing, which is one of my favorite features in the game, right? So we're thinking more along the lines of optimizing like item management and creating different systems for storing inventory versus just like adding an extra page onto the game. And you know, that stuff takes longer, right? Because it's adding a new gameplay system. It's not just like, you know, adding an extra set of inventory slots, which would be fairly trivial to do. So yeah, depending on how much time we have a lot of plans for the next major patch. You know, if it ends up being that way, we may just have like one more page. I may be going back and just adding one more page while we wait for the engineering bandwidth to actually be able to create that new stash system, right? I guess what I'll say is, by major, we can commit to adding more inventory space for you guys. I prefer to have it be a system, but if we can't get there, we'll add one more page. How long do we have an estimate? Weeks. Like to add an inventory system in the house. It wouldn't like it wouldn't be like months. It would be days. It'd probably be like a couple weeks. But you know, we have a limited amount of engineering resources that are all working on some very challenging problems right now that will be very exciting for you guys to see in a couple months.
Big things. Yeah.
Let's see. Divine had a question about how the skill tree was overhauled. Long story short, yes, you can expect some very big changes coming in the next update. It's not the time for me to unveil exactly what that is, but you guys should expect some huge changes coming down the pipe, and I think those changes will be exciting changes, but they will also be pretty big disruptive changes. So we'll keep you guys as updated as we can. We're gonna approach this methodically, just like we did with skill tree, and the raid boss. And you know, I'm hoping we can build this next chapter of Zenith together as a community and as a dev team. Yeah.
People keep asking for fishing, Andy. I don't know what to do about this.
What's the most? They're fishing for fishing, is what I'm hearing. What's the most exciting thing you'd be willing to share with the community that you're working on right now? Let me think.
I know everything's like so like.
There's
awesome.
a lot. There's a lot. All right. I don't know that I can share anything yet. I don't want my designers to kill me because everything is still very much in prototype mode right now, and there is a lot of exciting things we're working on. I will. You heard it from me here, folks. The next patch will be big enough that we're going to not be calling it patch 1.5, but patch 2.0. So it is going to be, basically, you could imagine it as the second version of the game. It's a huge amount of changes coming in, both to the core tech and to the actual gameplay loop. I can't reveal too much more beyond that right now. I can tell you that the team is really, really excited, and that I'm hoping you guys will be excited as well.
I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
Now everyone's gonna be bugging the hell out of me. Thanks, Andy.
just a little teaser for you guys. Just a little teaser. Let me look at some of these questions. Also, if you see any interesting questions inside chat, Winters, let me know.
Sure.
Now that we have player housing, when will guild halls be implemented? I don't have an ETA for you guys on that. I can tell you it's not on the current roadmap for 2.0. Are there any plans to make the game more immersive by adding more environmental ambiance and active NPCs? I think you guys should look at the first-time user experience as an example of how we've upgraded the ambiance. Like if you play the new Fatui with the new character with those islands that you're looping around on, you should notice that like you can hear kind of the water reverberating off of the cave and the waterfall as you're going in. You can hear the bird noises and they're spatialized. So like I actually think we did a really good job, and Jordan, our sound designer and composer, did a really good job with that area. And we'd increasingly look to make future areas more immersive as well. With the NPC stuff, it's always really hard, right? Because we're already, as you guys know, we have performance challenges being an MMO, right? Adding more NPCs just increases or decreases the FPS. So like our first goal on the environment side is actually to get performance back up for 2.0, right? We actually tried really hard to move perf up for 1.4, but what happened was like we also like created this thing to like we wanted everybody to spend more time together in base camp. And so we actually quadrupled the number of hours people are spending in base camp together and socializing, which is amazing to see. That number was great. We also 4x the number of players standing next to each other by implementing that change. So like all of our FPS metrics went down because even though we made the game a lot more performant, there's like way more people hanging out with each other with like say world boss and raid boss and base camp. So like it's always a trade-off, right? I don't know. It does feel smoother to me though. Like we got rid of freeing memory.
I agree.
There should be less
No
hitches
more freeing
now
memory.
as you're running through the world. I think average frame rate is probably a bit lower due to the things I just said, but that the hitches should be significantly better. Thanks, Anshi. Are there any plans? Is there a time frame for when we will see? Unfortunately, not. Fortunately, not. Another backing goal on Kickstarter. When do we get player-owned shops and trading in general? What if you could trade everything? Would that ruin the economy? Because that's a problem. We've actually already built a trading system. It's done. Octo built it. It's literally done. We just haven't turned it on yet. We haven't turned it on because right now, by default, everything is tradable, right? Like that would, I feel like that would fuck with the gameplay balance completely, since we never built the current economy to work with that. So it's a question to you guys, right? Would you be worried that that would kind of cheese everything up? Oh, somebody said 2B said trading would be a disaster. No trade, please. All right, guys. QB said it. We're not going to do trading anymore. You heard it. You heard it.
Deleting it.
I'm just kidding. Don't give them shit. I'm totally messing with you guys. Let me hear a few more opinions here. What do you guys think? Should we introduce trading, like maybe lock raid materials and soulbound items that are equipped and raid gear, and then everything else is just tradable? No, 2B still says no. What about like ingredients and shit and like harvestables and stuff like that? Oh, no, I don't think I would make pets trade.
Like the actual like captures, not the pets themselves, but like the creatures.
Are pets tradable? Like before you activate the pet, right? I would maybe make that tradable. Like not the captures, but like drops that you would get from like RV and
exactly like the books. Yeah.
Yeah. I think those should be tradable. We don't have an auction house or a player shop yet, but you know, I mean, we do have player trading. That's something I think with a little bit of polish, we could actually just push live.
Trade limit, Divine said.
A trade limit?
Trade coins. Like setting per day, per week. Trading materials could be interesting.
How would we not make it imbalance for early game players?
Yeah,
like you could just like trade an alt and then like trade it, right? Trade it with your alt. I guess level requirements would make that easier to deal with. Yeah, level limits. I'm just thinking through all the corner cases. I'm literally brainstorming this with you guys live right now.
Can't trade till you're
Okay.
40.
All right,
That's
I'm gonna
interesting.
move on. All these are transmog questions.
that
I feel
next
like I've
one.
already answered this like a couple times. Are there any plans
one you
for
don't
a
remember?
locking
Yeah, yeah.
system so you don't accidentally scrap or lose relevant items? Any plans for a loadout tab to make gear switches easier? No, not right now. There are no plans to do that. I understand why you guys would want that, so I'm not trying to minimize that. I'm just telling you guys the truth. As of today, there's no plans to get that in. Is this the are there any plans? Solely asked if there are any plans to re-roll for the pet abilities. This is when there's a random pool of abilities you can get depending on the type of pet, and if you get bad rolls, then that pet is ruined, right? Like let's say you get a dazzling and then like it doesn't get the right rolls.
Right.
Again, this is something I sympathize with you guys on, and actually it fits really well into character progression. But being honest, there's nothing on the roadmap that currently has that. All our focus is on Zenith 2.0 right now, and
Guess we
there's
can
some
start
more
saying that now.
fundamental, huge issues. Hey, Z Storm, you got a question for me, or you're just waving saying hi? I'm not as interesting as Z Storm on streams. Now I'm getting some audience. I'm getting nervous now, you guys. It's like there's 70 people. I'm wasting all your guys' time. Like I should be playing a game or streaming something right now.
They're here for you, man.
Oh God, don't say that, Winters.
Did that make it worse? Ah.
if yes. Anyways, Occult asks, what is the plan with Skyline versus Mainland? Stay tuned for that.
Yeah, that's a 2.0 thing.
Yeah. Will there be an updated roadmap anytime soon? So no, but what I want, these questions are kind of the same. You're just asking about what we're building next. So I did like a letter to the community for 1.4, which kind of outlined, hey, we want to do more rapid updates, and we want to release content faster. And I want to do a similar kind of game design-ish blog for you guys soon, which kind of outlines our high-level overall strategy. It's not going to reveal any specific features, but it will talk about changes to our development process, things that we're thinking about overall. And then when we're ready to reveal the features, we will. You know, being real with you guys, when we did the fast updates, like a new update every month, we spent a lot of time doing those updates. Like each update you do, it's not just about the game dev, it's also about the QA, the release cycle, like the hot fixes for when bugs inevitably go wrong. So I would say like our development speed was probably slower by 30 to 40% because we were doing like bi-weekly or even sometimes monthly updates. And so we're kind of nixing that this quarter, and we're favoring kind of just doing updates when we have them instead of trying to stick to a cadence, because that's going to enable engineers and game devs to move a lot faster than they are now, and it's going to enable us to ship 2.0 to you guys faster. What we're planning on doing, we have a lot of epics that we're working on. Epics is a term of, it's just like a lot of game design features that we're building right now for Zenith. And even before 2.0 comes out, I'd like to test those features with you guys. We'll be pulling people into limited kind of private alpha tests or pre-alpha tests in the beginning, and then gradually opening it up to alpha and beta and then launch. So we would be pushing updates pretty regularly and testing specific features. That's kind of the plan going forward. in regular Zenith, but for Zenith 2.0, you can imagine all of the features we're testing with you guys to be bundled into like one comprehensive, huge update. This helps hold the community over. Yeah, that's a good point. We'll tease more. We will tease more. We'll show more things. It just might mean that updates are coming a bit slower than on a monthly or every 2-week cadence. Which, by the way, when we did that, we didn't see an increase in our user numbers, right? Like engagement wasn't higher, and then we just ended up like being stressed out all the time and like burning a lot of hours trying to do that, trying to keep up. So that's one of the learnings, right? We tried it. It was an experiment. It didn't really work for us as a studio. I know for some companies, live ops does make a huge difference in retention, but that was a signal to us that our core gameplay loop isn't there yet, right? Like, I think if we had like nailed the core loop exactly as we needed to, then we would see a huge spike every time we had a minor update. But since we're not seeing that, that tells me that we actually have to focus more on making the core game loop even better and more fun to get that large influx of users back in.
Exactly.
How are things going with your current pay model and the constant work you continue to do on the game? So I get a lot of we get a lot of fucking fake news about how we're just burning all our cash and whatever. We're in a very, very good position financially because we've been very, very good stewards of, and this is something I'm proud of, right? Stewards of the money people have spent on the game, the Kickstarters, our investors. Like, we are, unlike typical, game studios or Silicon Valley startups, we still have this very frugal and bootstrap mentality. So you guys may hear that we're spending all our money and stuff, but I can tell you that, like, I'm not going to go into specifics about our finances, right? But we have years and years and years and years of runway, and I'm not worried about that at all. If we stopped making a single penny today, we would have years and years and years. I'm not going to go into specifics, but lots. More than 5, less than 20. Like, if we stop making money today, more than 5 years, less than 20 years. That's how much money we could subsist on at this team size. So don't worry about the finances. I guess another tidbit I can share is we've been profitable for the last 2 years. We've been making money for the last 2 years. So I think we're in a pretty good shape to build our long-term vision of what we want Zenith to be, and more than Zenith, what we want RamenVR to be. Yep. It's all credit goes to the team. I mean, they've worked insanely hard to make this possible. I just want to do right by them and by you guys.
Lots of dragon chat. I don't know.
Dragon
Dragons
chat?
belong in the world of Zenith? I'm not sure. Is there lore around dragons?
Heck,
dragon?
science-based dragons would be cool. I mean, I remember when people were giving us shit for wanting to build an MMO on Reddit in the early days. Like, like they kept comparing us to the science-based dragons meme. I can't lie, there was a little bit of spite that got us to where we are today. Just wanting to prove all the haters wrong, all the toxic Redditors out there, all the people that said we couldn't do it. We've been profitable for the last 2 years, so booyah. Not bad. What will there be? Yeah, okay. I'm reading the same question. Yeah, I'm just going to start from the top. I'm stuck in a loop. Given how much the player base was concerned about introducing Toxmod to the point entire guilds left, yeah, Toxmod is a great piece of tech, and we have caught some truly awful people, like
Definitely.
really awful, like racists, predators, crazy people, that, quite frankly, have no place in our community via Toxmod. So from that aspect, it's been going pretty well. we care a lot about our users and the safety of our users. Obviously, like this is a teen game, right? It's not a adult game as well. So we have to keep that in mind. What I will say is, we're constantly evaluating all of the tech that we have in our game, and we always want to make the right decision based off of available knowledge. So it's not as if things are static or never change, right? But I can say that ToxMod has been effective in rooting out a good amount of toxicity. Would you agree with that, Winters? Actually, like,
Yeah, I agree. The other question just popped into saying like, is it still just paid employees who monitor ToxMod? And yes, 100% it is. There's
yes, it's still
no one else
just
outside
paid
the company.
employees. One thing I will add is like
I echo what you said.
we did add a party chat that lets you just click the button and it becomes unfiltered, right? That was in direct response to some of the concerns that major guild mates had. So I'm not really sure why people would still quit now when you could actually just, with consent, enter a unmoderated voice chat. That was something we heavily considered, and it opens up risk for us too, right? Because yeah, obviously anything unmoderated, all the toxicity is just going to flow into that funnel. But our thought was, as long as people are consenting to doing that, they're saying, I want to be unmoderated. We want to provide that level of freedom for them. Oh, you need to be on the same server. Okay. That's good. That's like a product feedback thing that we could probably work on. A lot of other games are using Tox mode as well. I don't know if they've like publicly announced it as much, but like a ton of games are using it at this point.
Yeah.
To Z-Storm's point. Yeah, at the end of the Alpha's pre-launch, we saw some wild live events. What are the chances of seeing more live events in the future?
Like the one with
There's
the city asteroid?
There's nothing immediately on the horizon, but I love live events.
Just find
Those
me in
events
game. I
were
do live
always
events all
kind
the
of
time.
pre-planned by Circuit Lord back in the day, and he would just like spend time on weekends to build that tech in, and then he just run this event. It's like, oh, I've been planning something. So to a certain extent, it depends on the willingness of our developers and designers to run events like that again, since they're not cheap. They take a lot of like free time and prep work to do. And in general, like I don't think we should be in the business of running custom events because they're not scalable, right? We can't just like keep building custom events, even though they are a lot of fun. It's typically something that smaller games with lower player counts do to like juice the numbers a bit and get people coming back in. But it's not sustainable, right? You can't build a business off of that because it's a one-time thing every time. Christmas event was cool. We saw a huge influx of users for that, and that was way more sustainable and scalable. So that's something that we're always looking at as well. Winter event, sorry. Winter event, not Christmas. Non-denominational December event.
My event.
Yeah.
I mean, in theory, we could turn it back on. I don't think we'll have time to do another one with 2.0.
Thank you, Z-Storm. Thank you for you're the PC police today. So Winter's event, even better.
Yeah, my event.
Sorry, what were
in
you saying,
theory, it could
Winters?
be turned back on. I was saying in theory, there's it could be turned back on. I don't think we'd necessarily have time to do a whole nother one with 2.0 in the pipeline, but in theory, it might still work. We'd have to check.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, we built all that tech to be reusable, right? Essentially,
Right.
like we could swap out the snow globes. I mean, the snow, like the Christmas decorations instantly with different types of decorations. But again, you guys have to understand that that takes a lot of resources away from art and design when they're spending all those resources on 2.0 right now.
That's a good point there. The ninjas didn't have a chance to get winter stuff. So if we did turn it back on, then their characters could get some of those items.
Yeah, I mean, we could. We have to. Let me get back to you on that. If
We
it's
will
a
think on
simple
it.
thing as literally just turning it on, or maybe like adding a few things to it, we not confirming this, but let me just take a look at it. Higher tier endgame content for more glorious rewards. Hmm. Who's ooh in FF14? Are there any plans to add? I can't read this whole thing, but Jibber posted something about beating ooh in FF14 and getting some like epic loot. And I'm not sure what he means by ooh, um, or they mean. We do want to add end game content for 2.0, but I think this is hard for me to say with all of you guys on the call because a lot of you guys are probably more passionate fans of Zenith than our average player base, right? Like you guys have to understand that a small fraction of users actually even get to say right now. A small fraction. That's the user base that's keeping us. It's the user base that's keeping us afloat and around, and I don't want to forget about you guys. But at the same time, like I think the game would be more fun for you guys if we had like thousands of new players coming in every day. So you could teach each other how to play, and we had a larger user base, and it wasn't just polite, and then that was full during certain times of the day. That there were multiple shards that were full, and it felt like a real and full world. So our focus has to be on serving like the huge majority of players that turn before they even get to sing. Like, why would we add more content to the end right now when we're losing most of our players before they get to the end? That's the question I would pose for you guys. If you guys want the game to stay alive, we're gonna have to make trade-offs. Now we do want to create more end game content, but just being real with you guys, because this is an AMA, every time we make a feature or a new piece of content for a end game player, it deprives us of the opportunity to kind of keep the game running longer term with letting new players in. I think we struck a pretty good balance this time with like say raid boss and then like the new first time user experience and then skill tree, which is cool for everyone, and hopefully that's stuff that's the stuff we can continue to focus on in the future, things that affect both endgame players and newbies positively.
It was also pretty heavy, admittedly, having like 3 separate areas going at the same time. Like it was heavy on the team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. Any other questions in chat that are interesting? I've been answering from this list for a while. I'd like to take some real-time questions.
Yeah, sure. If you guys want to type them.
How's my cat doing?
There you go. How's your cat?
Cat is doing amazing. Let me see if I can find the photo. They're old, so my cat is like my older cat is close to 20, and my younger cat, Ding Ding, is like 14 or 15 now. They're getting old, but they're still cute and still pretty active. So this is the picture. It's a picture of Ding Ding. A very recent picture that I just took a few days ago. Yes, it is. I feel kind of dirty that I've revealed her name at this point. I hope there's no like reverse search people can search for to find like more details. It's like my kid, right? Like I don't want to expose my kid to the internet. Like I would prefer for people to not know the existence of my kid at all, especially a gaming community. But I don't think there's any public evidence of Ding Ding. Maybe there is. Please don't make me regret this.
I guess you can tell them the Dingbo story.
I think people already knew that. Yeah, actually, Dingbo. I named the character with Lauren when we were playing D&D one day, and I named it after my cat, so we named it Dingbo. And the funny thing about Dingbo is that he would roll like critical failures every time. I don't know how it was happening, but every time I rolled, it would be like a 1. Like I think I rolled 2 1s in a row, which like has never happened to me. So Maybe I was getting all of the bad luck out of the way while playing D&D, so we could invest more luck into Zenith, so we could get the right.
That's
right
one
rolls
way
for the
to
game.
look at it.
Yeah, because that was actually, we had that D&D session the night before we formally started RamenVR. So there you have it. Any other questions? Any other subclasses anytime soon? Not on the roadmap for now, but there are some interesting things that we're playing out on the
Character
class
pets,
side
that
that
keeps
I'm
coming up.
not gonna get
We kind of
into.
addressed that before, but yeah, people want to be able to carry some of their pets across their different characters, so more
Mhm.
account bound pets.
Something we can think about.
Yep.
Not it's not something that's on the roadmap right now, but it's something we would consider. The main thing to keep in mind is like a lot of people spend a lot of time grinding for those pets, and so like I think by enabling that, we would kind of lessen the grind to a certain extent. So it's kind of a mixed bag for me, right? Because I think there is actually in-game value. It's not just the cosmetics of the pet. I could see like a thing where you could use the pet as a transmog or an appearance that you could summon, but it's like maybe it doesn't have the stats or is lower level or something like that. And you have to like level it up independently on each character. But I'm not sure. Yeah, that would be great. I thought we already did give titles for achievements, do we not?
We did for the Citadel. You can unlock one that way. It's kind of a newer thing.
Is that built in though, or do we have to manually do that?
Nope, it's built in.
So we can actually give
also
a title for an achievement now, right?
for completing a quest, yeah, it can activate that. Also for leaderboards, they grant titles too.
I know about that one. Okay, that's something we can look into.
Pet auto summon, like it automatically brings the pet in as soon as you log in. Is that what you mean, Divine?
It automatically what? Summons the pet?
I think yeah, when you log in, like you just have a default pet that just pops. I guess it would save you some clicks. Your favorite pet auto summoned. Yeah.
When you come into the game?
Yeah. Because if they have to click that every time, then that's a bit of a time saver.
Yeah, that would be a cool quality of life thing. Yeah. I mean, we don't have that on the roadmap because you guys are telling me about it right now. I think it might be cool to. I don't know. Like, have we refreshed like gathering feedback from the community? Right. I know people are saying this all the time in the Discord, but I think sometimes it doesn't get channeled to the design team as much unless we're monitoring Discord 24/7. Like, whatever happened to the suggestion stuff that we had?
We have a suggestion channel. Yeah, the designers
Or
do
like
go through that.
like we used to do upvotes, right? Do we still have that, or is that kind of fallen?
No, it gets updated every update in the sidebar in Discord, so that's there for everybody. And we save all of it, like all the data from every update.
Oh, I knew about the suggestions forum posts. I feel
like
like
you mean
it would
back
be
on Feedbear, like kind of thing. That one.
yeah, like we used to have Feedbear, but I feel like that should be prioritized against at some point. Like
Yeah,
we should just like bring that back into the team chats, so we, you know, so that there's a way to channel feedback from the community into something we look at. Yeah, that's something we can look into. Yeah, we get ChatGPT to analyze the data and tell us what to build.
And we got about 15 minutes left, guys. If you want to throw some more questions in, or we can go back to the list.
I'm going to go back to the list for a bit, and then I'll
Okay.
come back at the end. Is there priority in fixing non-working class abilities and unbalanced classes? I feel like we did a fair amount of that for 1.4, honestly. So this is from Spooky Neat. Is there priority in fixing non-working class abilities and unbalanced classes? It sounded like working class for a second.
No.
I was like, man, I don't want to create a whole commentary on capitalism inside Zenith. It's a utopian society where everything is perfect.
So I think they're specifically coming in chat here for like Essence Mage tank having trouble holding aggro because DPS does more damage generally, so they can pull aggro away from tanks. So that some balancing like that.
We fixed the Essence Mage raise, right?
The lasers, yeah, they're
The
fixed, but
lasers.
yeah, they
Because
still
now
need a better
I
way
know
to
that was a
grab
big thing
aggro.
that Sam really wanted to fix. That
Yep.
because now you can't switch and take advantage of that exploit. So we basically patched like we fixed it the wrong way for you guys because you guys were using that to. But hey, I mean, we got to fix
pull aggro,
some bugs
yeah.
when we see them, right? Yes, we do want to fix. Obviously, we want to fix all the known issues as they come up, and that will be a significant part of 2.0. Although so much is changing with 2.0 that a lot of it may be moot by the time you guys get there. But we obviously want to make the game as bug free as possible. We on that note, we have been hiring for more QA testers and stuff like that to help out, right? So our hope is to have an internal QA tester on the team soon. Right now, it's all outsourced. Once we have that internal tester, he's going to be able to both test features on his own, but possibly because they will have experience interacting with the community to also then source bugs that they're seeing from the community and try to get those fixed as well. And we expect more community-based events like the spring community event they're community driven. So I'm in full favor of that. If
I'm looking for it.
Z or anybody else from any other guild wants to kind of just throw those events. I know there's been some amazing things that you guys have done, just completely unprompted, and it's always appreciated from the devs. And just get in touch. We would love to throw more community events and potentially support some of you guys that are throwing those events.
Yeah, there was one earlier or further down. Sorry, was a ramen sponsored PvP event. Like I'd be open for that too. We just need to figure out when, how, and figure that out. But
yeah, we can talk about that. I don't want to commit to that on an AMA because it's for eternity. But
yeah,
the reason why we built PvP the way we did was we wanted to be something fun that was not too high stakes, right? As soon as we start adding laddering and tiers and rewards, it starts to become like a feature that is less of a dueling system and more of an actual PvP system. And from the feedback, it's not all that balanced right now, right? And exactly. Like before we turn it into like an actual competition, which we're sponsoring, we would want to see more. We want to fix some of those balance issues and make it feel more like a full feature. Let me see here. Recycle Esotech gear like TK gear. There's suggestions. Is there going to be a training system for Esotech gear?
Yeah, I think it came up before. I think that was just something that wasn't implemented. That's a good Vox Lab question, though. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, that would be a good question for Vox Lab. Smile if you want recycling Esotech gear. I don't. I think that's something that the designers
vote
should come up
smiles.
with. I did smile, but you know, it's out of my hands. Thank you, Diablo Drop. Diablo Drop. Diablo Drop. Diablo Drop. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly.
There he is. He popped in.
There he is. Hey, Voxlap. It's weird calling Voxlap because I call him by his real
I
name
know.
when we're working together.
Don't wanna out him.
Yeah. Voxlap. All right. So, any updates on time frame of level cap increases?
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes. So for 2.0, there will be a level cap increase.
There it is.
I can't get into more specifics than that. Again, there's still a lot. The reason why is I don't want to commit something to you guys that I end up changing, right? So I can tell you we're thinking about a lot of different things for 2.0, but until we have more confidence, we're still in the very early stages of prototyping. Our first playable actually for 2.0 is going to be like a week from today, which will be an internal milestone. But we want to open that up soon after to like an NDA playtest. So be on the lookout for that towards actually like end of November, I would say ish, or mid-November. We want to do a private invite only playtest, but I think we might allow people to kind of apply to try to get into that. Gonna showcase a lot of the things that we're planning on doing.
More stuff like an AMA divine. I mean, just as long as we have time.
Yeah, more stuff like this. So AMA, I think, is what he's saying. Yeah, I'd love to do more AMAs with you guys. You know, this kind of stuff is why I got into game dev to begin with, is to build a community. Yeah, as you guys know, you guys are the ones that make this all possible. We, from the very beginning, with the Kickstarter backing, even the pre-order pages, our Reddit posts, we would not be here without you guys. And I'd love to be more involved, and I'd love the team to be more involved as well. So there is a desire to make more stuff like this happen. And like honestly, an hour a month is not that much of a time investment to spend with you guys. So we might rotate it out, but it actually does require a fair amount of training in order to run these successfully, honestly, because you want to like be able to say the right things. You want to like tease people a bit, but you also can't just like reveal everything at once. It's just like it's a fine line that I've learned how to walk a tightrope over the past 5 years. I'd love to get more people involved in this though. Public speaking.
We don't want to talk about.
I'm not a very good public speaker, guys. I've gotten better at it over the years through a lot of practice, and this frankly isn't really public speaking because it's a video call, which I could do all day. If this was like me standing in front of an audience of like 80 people in a conference somewhere, I feel like it would be a lot harder.
Let's do it. We'll make a ramen convention, and we'll make.
I got some shit. I got some shit one time from one of the moderators about how bad one of my things was, and I made it a point to like get better at it.
Ramen con when? It could be fun, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be fun. Let's get to the next stage in terms of the number of users, right? Like let's get a couple million users in here, and yeah, I'll throw down for a ramen con.
There you go, guys. Get your friends to play Zenith.
Yeah. Okay, this is the pet question. I think I already answered.
Yeah, multiple questions were the same.
Why does dyad and AP increasing perks and augments in general don't work in the new raid? I believe that's because of the item power, or the scaling, the way we do scaling right now. But I think Voxlap and Samboy would have a better answer to that. It's not our intent for that to happen. So if that is happening, that's a bug that we need to fix. Like we want to be able to let people scale up based on their skill tree, right?
Okay, well there you go. Sam
Thank
says
you
it's
for
not
the
supposed
update,
to be
Sam.
there, so yeah, that's a bug. Yeah.
Is there a plan to add individual volume sliders so you can turn down or up individual people who might be too loud or quiet? No, not right now. Talk all the word. I'm not a huge fan of how our compression or our video or audio quality works right now. It sounds very tinny to me. That is something I'd like to look at improving, even for 2.0, so that it feels more positional and it also sounds more spatial. I'm not sure. I mean, we do use a third-party voice chat service, right? But I've seen other games that use the same service that seem to sound a little bit better. So I'm wondering if there's like a quality setting that we can tweak up somewhere, or it has something to do with the way we're streaming the audio. Any new areas in the works apart from Skyline to look forward to? Yes.
And he's making all the hints.
Well, I mean, if we're gonna increase the level cap, we got to give you guys some new content.
We got to give him more. That's right.
Will you ever extend the max party size for bigger raids and events? It's not on the cards right now. And again, this comes back down to performance. We've seen you guys that when performance goes down, engagement goes down. And that might not be for the hardcore players as much, but for the newbies that are coming in, like every FPS drop is correlated with like a drop in like how long they stay around. Strongly correlated. It's probably one of the only things we have real signal on when compared to everything else. So until we get the FPS back up, we can't promise increasing player counts or fights. Also in like VR, it's just harder. And in Zenith, it's harder to get a full party size right now, right? So we're looking at content that can scale, basically scale with a better system than we currently have, so that you can play the content with one player, you can play with 4 players, there's benefits to playing with more. Yeah, performance is a great thing to pin all of my troubles and all of RamenVR's troubles on. No timelines for support and tank classes. Again, there's a lot changing with 2.0, so just you know, I can't really get into it more than that. Stay tuned. Will the progression in the game finally eventually have multiple pathways to the end game? Stay tuned. Okay, let's take a few more questions from the side chat.
Sure.
Yeah, Quest 3 has opened it up a lot. You know, honestly, I think there's a lot more we can do to push the graphical fidelity of Zenith, which we will be doing. I would love to get PC water and bloom and post-processing into the game. Like if we could get bloom into the game, we could get better graphs and we can get better optimization performance. Like that is something we're pushing for 2.0. But again, frame rate is the number one thing we've got to fix first. I wanted to ask.
Nothing for world chat, bullish. That opens up a can of worms. Like world chat would be very hard to implement because people could just spam whatever. So that would take a lot of thinking.
Somebody asked about AI, which Salvary pointed out. We're already actively using AI in a lot of our development processes right now. It's not quite good enough to just take over the entire production pipeline for a lot of different things. Like we can't just have AI write code, right? Like it's good at writing boilerplate code. It's good if we need to ask it physics problems. It's good if we need to like do some data science queries. But overall, it still requires a lot of a good amount of hand holding. I think that's going to change in the next 5 years. And it's one of the reasons why I think we'll be able to stay small and accomplish really great things is we just want to hire the best, most passionate game devs in the world and have them kind of work with the AI as well as their own skill sets to like bring something out, right? Like one thing that we've noticed with AI is that it's good at getting 95% of the way there, but what you guys want is like the top 99.9% of peak experience, right? For VR games. To take it the rest of the way, that extra 5 to 10% effort is what AI is currently not good enough for. It's not good enough at just generating amazing content. So there's still a lot of work we have to do to coax it to do what it wants. So it's going to be a partnership for the foreseeable future, right? We're always going to have a need for like brilliant and creative designers and game devs. That's not going to change because we need them to do the super hard work. But AI can automate a lot of the really menial and boring tasks eventually, I think.
An interesting thing they're bringing up is the level. So are you guys saying
What
you'd
about level?
rather have the level, like the level beside the name, you'd rather have that be your eye level average than your physical level? Or would you want to have like level and then like a little number saying your eye level or something?
I think
That's pretty active.
It's a way to show off, right? And in
Yeah, show off,
ARPGs or flat pancake games, you can just inspect someone and see what their eye
Sure.
level is and all their equipment and all their crazy shit. And we can't really do that with Zenith. So maybe an inspect or some sort of mirror would be important going forward to help you show off.
No mirrors.
I wouldn't show eye level. I think that's just too confusing.
Yeah, it's hard to say, right?
I haven't seen a single game that does that. Is there a game you guys have seen that does that? That shows eye levels instead of like what your player level is? Don't make this VR chat. What? What is this? How is this VR chat?
It's
I
the
don't
mirror
understand.
thing. We tried, I will
Oh,
say we did try a mirror one time just for fun. I think maybe Ghost did it, but then two mirrors ended up facing
it
each other and
crashed
we all
the
died.
game because you put two mirrors and it's just an infinite reflection. Look, the way
It's
we would
infinite
implement mirrors, it would probably be in a house or a really small environment. And then what we would do is it wouldn't be a real mirror. It would just be like like a reflection of your motion. It wouldn't be literally a separate camera that's reflecting back at you. It would just be like a character doll that looks kind of like a mirror, if that makes sense. Okay, guys. Well, that's all the time I have for today. Unfortunately, I need to get back to work and build Zenith 2.0 alongside the team. But I really appreciate everybody's attendance today. I'm really super impressed that we have 75 concurrents on here. Like, I'm impressed that you guys actually care enough to hop in and listen to me and Winters talk about random shit for an hour. Really, really, really appreciate all the time and all the passion you guys put into this community. And thank you for it. So we hope we can do this again sometime soon. But I'm going to drop off for now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.